and you're stuck on one place. But in your spirit, you feel as if, no, I am stuck here too long. It is time to move. And then, because you just have the feeling, and immediately your language change. Remember, it's a gift you have it. Right? A prophet can begin to prophesy because he have a gift, and he will use everything around you before you get to the point. He doesn't have to go there, but he went there. But sometimes you have to be sensitive to the Spirit of God to know that when you're at a place that the tongues that you're speaking in the Spirit, it is not a language. You're not saying anything. What you're doing is that it's like it's a signal that you're sending off. Because the moment that you begin to stay right here, you're activating something in the realms of the Spirit. So many times you find that in order for prayer to become easy, you need to begin to activate the presence of God. So you're stuck at one place saying the same thing because you're channeling something. You're activating something. You're pulling something. It is a signal. But the moment that you change, the signal, you're moved. You're moved from where you are. You're gone somewhere else. The point I'm saying is that when we understand that these tongues that the Spirit activate is warfare tongues, it means that demons is in the environment. It means that powers are there, and therefore you need to begin to stay at a certain place. Again, the Spirit gives us utterance, but we have a gift. So you can choose to take yourself from out of an environment of where the Spirit is leading you and go somewhere else. He wants you to pray a prayer of intercession, but you start to a prayer of supplication. I don't know if you see what I'm saying.
I get you.
Why? Because we are not sensitive to the Spirit. So what we need to do is also pray for those who speak in tongues. Ask God to make us to be sensitive to the Spirit of God, that will know what type of tongues it is. Because there are languages that many times I'm praying in a certain language.
I'm hungry.
Right? And guess what happened? It's almost as if the presence of God starts to flow. The moment that I begin to speak in that tongues, that language, the presence of God just come upon my head. And the more that I dig into it, is the deeper that I'm encountering the presence of God. So there are tongues that you speak. Is a tongues to access the presence of God immediately.
Come on.
But what I'm saying, because you have a gift, and there are different kinds of tongues, or levels of tongues, it means that you can activate different levels of tongues at different times. Because it's a gift. You can use it. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying to you. It's not that people who don't have the gift. If you don't have it, you cannot do it. But for those who have it and understand, I can activate a different level of tongues because of the environment that I'm in. So if I'm aware that demons are here, if the Spirit don't take me into it, I can take myself into that dimension because demons are here. And these tongues, it is when I'm in warfare that I begin to speak it. When I'm in a place of worship and I want my spirit to be lifted up, I can activate this level of tongues. I don't know if it makes sense. Notice that Jesus spoke more than one language. He spoke Arabic, he spoke Hebrew, what is again? Greek, right? He didn't just speak one language. He spoke many languages, right? But notice that at different times, when he was raising the dead, he spoke one language. Then when he's speaking to the Jews, he's speaking a different language. When he was on the cross, he spoke a different language. So at different instances, he's speaking different languages. To the point of which when he was on the cross, he spoke a language that was Aramaic, yet still the people didn't understand what he said. They said, what is this man saying on the cross? Somebody saying, what I'm saying, I don't know what they said. It is there in the text. But they didn't understand what Jesus was saying. Yes, he was saying, Father, Father, why have thou forsaken me? But they didn't understood. Let us look at what they said. What did they say? Let's look at what they said. So I'm trying to remember. Right? So notice at different instances, there are different tongues that are used to speak in different kinds of atmospheres. That's one of the reasons why even the prophetic as a language, that when you begin you want to start the prophetic anointing, there's a certain level of tongues that you can activate, that it begins to stir up the prophetic atmosphere. I don't know if you've ever noticed, even in my own experience, I recognize that when I'm moving prophetically, there are some tongues I don't speak. And it becomes natural. It's not like I'm even aware of it. But it's when I begin to learn, okay, there are different tongues and different things. That's when I begin to look back and say, because as I'm doing it, I'm aware, but I don't know what it means. To me, I'm just speaking in tongues. But then when the Spirit begins to open my eyes and give me insight, it's not just tongues, but it is a tongue for that atmosphere. It is a tongue because even there are times that I'm praying, and I begin to recognize there are languages that I've never spoken in years. I've not spoken those languages. Then immediately it is activated. And how does it become activated? Because I realized that when I got filled, there's a language that I spoke when I got filled. I remember it so clear. I think everybody remembers the first language. But after that, I've not heard that language for many years. You know when that language began to come back around? When I became connected back with the place where I came from. Yes. Then I find that this language, it comes back. Why?
It is the language of the house. It's the language of the atmosphere.
Well, I've not heard anybody speaking here. But could it be that that language there, it is meant or was meant to activate something in that house, in that atmosphere, in that region, because nobody else has it. I've never heard it. But now I'm giving you something new, so that now you can speak to a different kind, a different set of people that are there.
Yes.
For example, when these men begin speaking in tongues in Acts, remember, it draw people together. People that were never there, it pulled them in one place. They were never there. The Bible said they came together. They heard commotions. They heard people running and shouts and said, no, I need to go see what's going up there, so let me go and see. It's just like accidents that brings people. You know, my auntie said something a few years ago at my grandmother's funeral. She said, why? It seems to me that only when somebody dead, this family comes together. And guess what? It was the same thing I said not too long ago before she said what she said. And we were not in the same place. And I didn't even say it out loud. I said it in my mind. I said, it seems to me, God, why at death have to make families come together so many times? By the time I walked and reached over to her and we were talking, she said the same thing. Right? So notice that there are things that makes people to appear in a certain place. People don't, it attracts them. You can be in an environment working and nobody knows that you can speak Spanish. And the moment they know you can speak Spanish, all of a sudden you become friends. They'll never pass you and not call to you. In fact, they want you to sit with them at their dinner table. Because we have somebody that is like us. There's something that connects me to you. And it is the language that they're speaking. Because in Genesis, remember, they're building a Tower of Babel. They only have one language. The Bible said they were scattered. And God divided their tongues. And it is the tongues that were divided, the language that was divided, right? Because He gave them different language. And so they were scattered because they were never able to understand each other anymore. And now, in Acts, God gave them a tongues to bring them together. So tongues can divide people as well as they can bring people together. So the question should be so many times is, what is our tongue dividing or what is it bringing together? That's one of the reasons why interpretation is important, because when the devil anoints people to speak and they speak, they're dividing something in the atmosphere. Right? Or they're summoning something. Because could it be that when they activate that tongues, that demonic tongues, it is summoning spirits?
Yes,
right?
I agree.
Then they are speaking again. Then it brings forth a confusion in the atmosphere, so worship can't even come up the way it's supposed to come. I don't know if you see what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So then when we begin to speak a new language, God is doing something that has never been done. He's immobilizing something. He's immobilizing people to gather them in a place they've never been before. I'm talking about people getting saved. Because the moment you activate certain tongues, there are certain angels that are activated. And these, did you know, the Bible spoke about ministering spirits. It says, are not these all ministering spirits, which means that there are spirits that comes to minister to people.
Mm-hmm.
So could it be that there are spirits that are responsible for people who are in prostitution, right? I'm talking about demons. But then there are also spirits from God that comes to deliver people out of prostitution.
Yeah.
Because what Gabriel does is not what Michael does. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So which means that there are different spirits, different angels, different kinds of spirits that are responsible for different kinds of people. So until the spirit manifests, you will never gain access to those kind of a people. And therefore, in order to access them, you need a certain level of language, a language you have never spoken. Because when Abraham entered into Mount Moriah, it is at that point that he gave God a name. He says, you are Jehovah Jireh. And Jireh is not English.
Yeah.
It is not English. In fact, he never said it in English any at all. So the moment that he came into contact with a certain kind of a miracle that he had never seen before, immediately God received a name.
Yes.
And anytime you repeat that name, people knows what it means.
Yes.
Because something activated that level of language. I don't know if you get what I'm saying right here. So it means that then the tongues that we speak, it activates certain levels of blessings. Which means that until you are able to access that dimension of language and tongues, certain level of blessing cannot be activated.